Hi guys, welcome. I'm Devil Gamer J. This is my first series and first episode when it comes to Fishing Planet. I'm going to be talking you through 3 different setups for beginners of rods that we use, and they are float fishing using a telescopic rod, feeder fishing and spin fishing, which is my favourite. Without further ado though guys, I'm going to get to rod number 1 and show you the setup I currently have, and then show you where you can get the cheapest stuff from and how to set it up. So first of all guys, here we go with the float setup. As you can see in the top left hand side, it shows the rod I'm using, which is a Tri 16'4". The line weight is £2.11, so basically you can put any line on there that's between 2 and 11 pounds, but do bear in mind the rest of your tackle adds on top of the weight, so that will affect the rod, and also then you've got to gauge what kind of weight the fish are. So I go with, let's just jump down into information and gone across there. It is a bit tricky this, but in terms of the line, I've gone with the Mono 007, which is a 500 yard line, test of £3, and it fits well with my reel, which again is a Callisto XS 1000. I swear by using the Callisto, especially when you start, it's around about 2,000 coins on the game. I do believe you can get the Callisto XS 1200 or 1300 for 300 coins dearer, but I'd always start with the Callisto. It's a really sturdy reel. In terms of your bobbers, what you want there is a slim bobber for smaller fish and a more thicker bobber for the bigger fish. So to start with, you probably want to go with the thinner bobber. In terms of hooks, I'd always start with hook number 1 or hook number 2. I wouldn't go any bigger than that. With the stage I'm at now, I do go up towards hook number 5, but you won't need to be doing that just yet. So basically guys, that's the setup for the float rod. I'll now show you where you can get all this quickly before moving on to the feeder rods. So you'd scroll right using R1, as I am on PlayStation 4, and then you've got a load of options along the top. You'd use the left analog stick to bring them up, and then to scroll down also you'd go to telescopic rods, and it'll bring up a list of what you can get. Now for me, I'd start off with, like I say, I use the Tri 16.4, but I would start off with a Telefloat 14.9 or the Telefloat 21.3. They're probably the 2 best rods. Again, look at the line weight before you then go and purchase the line to put on that rod. It all does come into effect once you've got a reel on there also guys. So that's where you will get the rods for bobber fishing, or float fishing as I call it. Then you go up towards reels, and again you go spin reels or cast reels. The Callisto, I've never owned the Callisto XR 1000. It is only a 3.2 drag, so you're not going to catch massive fish with that. But to start with, I would just push the boat out and go with the Callisto XS 1000. If you want to be a bit more adventurous, then you've got the Callisto XS 1400, and that's 300 coins more. But I would start using the Callisto as your preferred reel. In terms of line, you just go to where it says lines and purchase the Mono 5. I use a Mono 7, but again, always look at the weight of your rod. If you're going to use one of the starter rods from the telescopic, you will go with the 005 Mono, and that's a test line of £2, and that will be more than fine for that rod. If you get a rod that holds a bit more, then obviously go to 007, which is a 500 yard test of £3. In terms of hooks, well basically you just go onto Terminal Tackle, you can find all your hooks there. Again, I would purchase the Magfin number 2, which is $60 for 10, and also the Magfin number 1, which is $140 for 10. So you get quite a few, but you will need them to start. In terms of that rod guys, that's that complete. We will now move on to the next rod. So now we jump onto the second rod, which is feeder fishing. Again, I'll go through what I have and my setup, and then I'll take you to where you need to purchase all the correct gear before you go fishing. First of all, the rod itself is the Leica Pro 11'2". Its durability is real good. Casting weight is decent as well, guys. Don't really need to go in the ins and outs of that, but in terms of the line weight, it's 4.5 to 13 pounds, so it can carry quite a good fish, quite a good size fish. And the reel is probably a bit more excessive than what the rod it needs to be for the rod, but I personally use the Redfish 5500. It does the job for me, and I can't really complain at the moment. It could go on to a much stronger rod, and I'm sure once I get leveled up I will get a better rod than the one I currently have. What I would suggest, guys, is that you use the Creek Pro 7'10" or 9'10". I will show you that in store in just a moment. Again, when it comes to the reel, you can use the Callisto XS 1000 again, and I would advise using that on this method of fishing. For me, it's the tougher of the three methods I'm showing you now. I don't personally like it myself. I do use it, but I don't like it as much as the other two. Line. Always look what line weight the rod can take, guys. It is really important. You don't want to exceed the rod weight with the line weight. So that brings us on to the line weight, guys. I use Mono 010, which is a length. I mean, you can buy it in lengths of 200, 300 and 500, I believe. And the test weight is 8 pounds, so that fits in nicely with the weight of the rod, which is 4.5 to 13 pounds. So you've still got a 5 pound give on the rod. Then you will need an open feeder, 1/2 ounce, and basically that just gives off like a scent of food for the fish and attracts them basically. Again, I'll show you where they are in a minute. Next, you will need a mono leader. I use the 005. It's a 5-yard leader of a test of 4 pounds. So if you add that together, guys, with the line, 8 pound and 4 pound, 12 pound, and again, I've still got a leeway of 1 pound there, so I'm all good for that. Hooks, I swear by the 1 and 2s, guys. I still use them to this point, so if I was you, unless you're catching bass, when I think you should go to possibly a 4, I use a 1 and 2. In terms of bait, it all depends on where you're fishing. Please check, for instance, I'm going to Florida. Look what the species are that you're going to be catching, the target fish and what they eat. Then you just take it from your home, put it in your backpack, excuse me, and off we go. Finally, last but not least, we go with the Simple Bell. These do range in sensitivity and they do range in price. They're not very dear, $10 to $50, and mine's just a high sensitivity, but you can go extremely high. So now I'll show you where we're going to get these. Obviously we'll scroll across using R1 to the shop. Again, it's left analog stick up to rods, and you just go down to feeder rods. Now this is where I said I'll show you. I did use the Creeker Pros, but I have since moved on to the Leica Pro. So Creeker Pro 710 is a really good rod to have, 2 to 6 pound, 6.5 pound. But again, factor in your leader. I'll show you that in a minute. You can get leaders that are less than the weight I've got on mine, or you could just push it out that little bit more and go for the 2 to 7.5 pound. That's probably your best bet, guys. The Creeker Pro 910. And in terms of your rod, that's that. Reels, well, we've already spoke through this. The Callisto XS 1000 or the Callisto XS 1400. Again, both really sturdy reels, and you'll have no problem with them. Lines, you can use braid. I'll quickly talk through braid. Any of these are good. Personally, 6 and 5 are the best. 4 pound test and a 6 pound test, but that's for heavier duty rods, so I'd always stick at the moment, for you beginners, to mono. Again, 2 pound test, perfect. 3 pound test, just as great, guys, depending on the weight of the rod again. Next up, we need to go, you know where hooks are, on terminal tackle. Sinkers, we don't need them. Cage feeders, here we are. Dirt cheap, guys. I use the open feeder for level 3, $25. Now, one piece of advice I will give you before you go fishing is purchase at least, I don't know, I'm going to say 10, because it's trial and error. I've gone through a lot of these trying to get this method right, and like I've already said, it's not my favourite method of fishing, so I do get it wrong occasionally. And I do believe is that about that in terms of the mono leader. I need to show you where that is. So again, for mono leaders we will go to lines, and down here click on mono leaders. Now I will show you what I use, which is this mono leader here, £4 test. But for rods that ain't, I'd say don't go above £7, I wouldn't use that. I would come down here and use something like the mono leader 0035 or the mono leader 004. They're going to be just as good, and as you can see, the dirt cheap, guys, 15 in a pack for $5-6, so it's not a problem. And then we'll click back onto inventory. That's about all you need to know. Once you do purchase stuff, guys, it will drop back into your home slot. You just need to press square or click it straight onto your rod. But if you've already got one on your rod and you want to take more, just click square and it'll carry over into your backpack. But for now, that is the feeder fishing gun. We will now jump for. So guys, here we are with my spin fish setup. I use the VBO Caster 710. Now this was bought from a special pack, so I'm not sure this is available in the shop, but I will give you an alternative to use, as I have used others before. As you can see, the line weight for this rod is 9 to 24 pound. It is a heavy duty rod, so I've never come across a problem just yet with it, and I have caught up to 30 pounds in weight with fish, so not too much of a problem. Again, the reel is really heavy duty. And that falls in line with the rod. It actually came with the rod, and it's a, what kind of reel is this? It's a casting reel. So again, guys, casting reels can be a bit dearer, but as it came in a pack, I don't need to worry about that. I will talk you through the two types of reels. The max drag is 23 pound, so it's going to take one hell of a fish to break. Then we'll jump up to line. As you can see, it's a blue style line. That means it's a lot heavier. The rod's a lot heavier, so I can take it. And this is a 12 pound test, and that's 0.12. And that's a little bit dearer in terms of the line, but it's all worth it. Next up, you have crankbait. What I'll do is, I will just show you first, guys, the fact that I do use crankbait. And they come in all different depths. For example, they come in 3, 6, 8, 12, 16, all the way up to 30, I believe. And what they do is, you cast out and you just hold R2, reel all the way in, and well, basically it is as it says. You just reel it straight in from casting out and see whether you get a fish. But for different waters, you want different depths. They do differ in weight though, so do make sure that all falls in line again with the weight of your rod. Next up, guys, there is a different kind of lure, and I will show you that now. As you can see, I've just talked about all the different depths. You can see on screen all these different ones I've got. But then you come to popper fishing. I've got a few poppers there, and that's a top water lure. So basically you just pop it along the top of the water. It just jumps out of the water a little bit and attracts the fish with the splash along the top. So I've got a few of them. Then we've got frogs or walkers. They're basically a top water feeder as well, guys. They move from left to right along the top of the water. For example, the frog obviously looks like a frog. It does attract certain fish, and therefore bass generally come for the frog, or maybe even gar. The next lures I can talk you through are casting spoons. Now they will sit on the bottom and you'll reel them in, whether it's lift and go or stop and go. I prefer stop and go, so I would use that with these. But if you do need any more info, guys, please throw it down in the comments below, and I'll gladly do a video on whatever it is you're needed to do. Narrow spoons, again, they're along the bottom. I do love using these, but I primarily only use them in New York, and they catch a lot of walleye. but walleye are worth a lot of money, so they are good for that. Now to the shop to show you where to get the stuff, and then that'll be it. We'll crack on with the fishing. So guys, you will come to rods, and you can actually buy two lots of rods. You can buy a spin fishing rod, which, you know, the value here is all good. I'm not going to speak too much about spin fishing because my personal opinion is to go with casting rods. They're a little bit dearer, but for me they're worth purchasing. As you can see, 2000, 2004. I would go with a value caster, £4 to £9, pretty much £2.5 grand. If you want to go a bit more, then you've got the jesters, but I'd stick with a value cast to start with. Then in terms of reels, again you've got spin. For a spin rod you will get a spin reel. Self-explanatory really, but you never know, just explaining for the people that might not understand. And then you've got the reels for casting. These are more heavy duty. Again, make sure the reel and the line fall in line with the rod, but you could always go with the Felix 500 or the Lodex 1000S, and they have a max drag of 6.6 pound or 6.1 pound. Not too much difference, but the price is. So I'd start with the Felix 500 if that's the way you choose to go. Next up guys, lines. Let's go with the mono. Just show you now guys, I used, I believe, the 12, and that's $300. That's only an £150 line. I think I've got the £300 line, so the 300 yard line. But right there we have the mono 12, $300, and that's a £12 test line. I think that's basically everything we've bought for. In terms of lures guys, you would just come here straight to lures. Crankbaits, as I said, different depths. They aren't cheap, so please make sure you get your setup right, because if you lose one it's going to cost you. You can't see just there how much it's cost unless you're using bait coins. In terms of cash, there we go, £2.5 grand is the cheapest one you can buy. Next we will go to top water lures, and this is where you'll find your poppers, your walkers, your frogs. Again, they're not too cheap, so make sure you get your setup sorted before you rush into anything. I don't want you losing money, and I'm sure you won't want to be losing money also. And then last but by no means least, we will go with spoons. And here we go, you've got casting spoons, slop spoons, narrow spoons, soon to be medium spoons, nano spoons. There's a lot of different ones guys, so they're all there. What you're looking for is right there. But for now, that's that guys. One last thing I will show you is when you go fishing, you want to start somewhere fairly cheap. So Mudwater could be a good one, or even just Lone Star Lake for you beginners. Not going to catch massive fish, but you'll catch fish that are going to make you money to then move on. Always make sure, for me personally, I buy an advanced license, which means you're able to fish at night and you're able to keep any fish you buy. That's any fish. In terms of the basic, where it says release, it shows you what you can't keep. So for me, I'd always choose the advanced. Obviously you've got to factor in your travel costs. For Florida, where I'll be going, it's $6,500 travel cost with 1,000 pass per day, but you soon make that back at Florida. But guys, if you've tuned in for this video, thank you, and now let's jump straight into the fishing action. So here we are guys, just currently travelling to Florida, or loading to Florida, and once we get here I'm going to start off by showing you the basics of fishing with a floater rod. So that's a telescopic Troy 16.4 with a line weight 2 to 11 pounds. I'll also show you other little bits and bobs that you need to keep your eyes open for. So as you can see here in Florida at the Everglades, there's 4 fishing spots. I'll show you which one I use. Well, I use them all to be fair, but I'm going to start off with one. I just want to show you a few things over on the left hand side of the screen first before we start. The weather forecast. Now bear in mind, if you're here for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, any length of time, you need to look at this. The light blues on the left is the daytime, the purpley dark blues on the right is the night time. Now it shows underneath on day 1 the little mountain as it goes from low to higher. The highest part is peak time, when the fish are at their most lively. When it's at the lowest, that's when the fish are at their least lively. So for instance, you probably want to start fishing, I don't know, around about 11 AM, and you'd probably follow that through until I'd probably follow that through till 9 PM to be honest, and then carry on into the night. As you can see, from 9 PM I'd probably keep fishing up until about 2 AM and then stop. That's for me when the day would go flat. So it's plenty of fishing over the first day, so please make sure you check out the peak times. I'll show you how to skip time also, but I'll do that in a minute. I'm going to go into a friends only room, and that's basically all I need to show you for now. So what we will do is I'm going to start fishing, I don't know, let's start here. You hold L1 to change your rods if you've got more than one. Keep hold of L1 and then select the rod you want. So I want the Troy 16.4. Here we go guys with the Troy. Press R3. So right click the analog stick in, and there we go, we're ready to go with the bait guys. Look, all set, there we are. What I do want to show you is the bottom right hand side of the screen where it says 0-218 foot. 218 foot is the amount of line I've got. What you can see in the right hand corner is a wheel with like an arrow inside it. That's how much drag you use. I would never personally go above 3, but that may be too much drag for some fish. So you can bring it down using the directional pad. So left click would bring it down, right click would take it up. Then if you want to reel in faster, but bear in mind this does have an effect the higher the drag. So you would press, well first of all you'd change the length of the leader. So I'm going to go with 2 foot. Change the depth, I'm actually going to go to about 12 inches. And then we're going to, I don't know, let's put it round about here. Hopefully it doesn't get stuck again. And I mean, it wasn't the perfect, it's not where I wanted. I mean, that could have been snagged easily. But hopefully guys, it won't be too long before we catch something. I'll have a bite, there we go, if I'm not mistaken, that was a little nibble. And again, so you just wait until the red bit drops below the waterline, and then you hold R2 and quickly press, hold L2 and quickly press R2 to start reeling it in. So L2 and then R2. Bring it in. This fish is really small and it virtually flew at me. So there we go guys, a golden shiner, $34, and the trip's already started in that method. So what I will now do is change to the Leica Pro, which is the feeder rod. Again, L1 to get the rod out, and this is where it could get difficult guys, because as you may know, if you've seen it stuck round from the early part of the video, this isn't my favourite method of fishing. It's a good method of fishing, but it's not my favourite. So it shouldn't take too long to get a bite, but we'll see. Like I said, the Everglades is the perfect place to come fishing if you want to make money. The peak times are always very good. The fish are worth decent amount of money. The bass you can catch here, superb. You can catch tarpon here. There's a lot of different fish you can catch here. So basically guys, if you could subscribe, that would be awesome, and drop the video a like if it's been any use to you. If not, then apologies. Do let me know how you feel about the video. So if you have to dislike, then dislike. I need to get a gauge of where what people think of the video, and yeah, please make sure you are subscribing. I will be dropping more videos, not just on this but on various different games. If you need any more tips and you feel like this has been helpful, then throw it down in the comments. What, if anything, you need help with in terms of fishing Planet. So I'm going to basically reel this in and try and fish with a... Next up we'll move to the VBO. We know it's not 12 foot deep here, so what we'll do is we'll select a crankbait, which, I don't know, let's see if 6 foot's working for us. Where's crankbaits at? 6 foot, let's try that. And hopefully guys, this time it will work. I mean, I'm pretty confident. This is a method I have used here before. So basically with crankbait, you just hold R2 and bring it straight in, and that's all you do. Fish on, you press R2, pull the rod towards yourself and hook it, and then reel the rest of the way. So we'll try a couple of spots with crankbait, then we'll try popping, then we'll try walking, and that should really give you an idea of what you want to be using. Personally, this is my favourite kind of fishing, the spin fishing, so I really enjoy this. I catch a lot of fish doing it this way. It isn't a spot I fish too often here at the Everglades. It's usually on another bank, but we will see how we go from here. I mean, it's a shame nothing at the moment seems to be biting. I can assure you guys 100% this is a place to come fishing. So we'll just let it settle there, and then we'll reel it all the way back in, and hopefully something will latch onto it this time. So whatever fish we really pull out, when we do pull out a fish, is not really going to affect the rod or the reel too much. The weight's not going to be a problem. It is a pretty heavy duty rod. So basically guys, that's crankbait. Even though we didn't catch anything, just throw it out and reel it straight back in. Remember the depth to each crankbait. The way to find out how deep a certain point of a river is, press triangle and it will bring up a map like so, and this is where we are around here, and this is where we're fishing. So the light blue is probably 0 to 5 foot deep. The dark blue patches are probably 5 to 11 foot deep. So that gives you an indication of how much crankbait you need to use. In fact, given that that's the case, I'm probably using the wrong crankbait for the area I'm in. I probably want to go with a 3 foot crankbait. So I'm going to try that now, reel it in once, and then we'll move on to poppers. So let's cast out, let it settle, and bring it straight back in. Now it is possible I was using the wrong crankbait given the depth of the water there, but we will soon see. And if we don't catch out this time, like I said, we'll just move on to poppers. And poppers is a top water method. This crankbait could be mid water, bottom water, top water, based on the depth really. So this is about mid for the depth of the water here. So I was really hoping we'd have been able to catch something there, but it's not the case. So what we will do now is we will go to poppers. I'll use my favourite popper here. I do like the yellow and red, and it seems to catch the fish. Hopefully I'm not jinxed myself in saying that. although nothing seems to have been working at the moment for the purpose of this video, guys, but it's basically just to show beginners how to start out. So what you would do is cast out, and because this is top water, then you would go on an angle, reel in using R2, pop with L2. So reel, pop. It should come up popping, as you can see there underneath the float on the screen. So keep hold of R2 while you're reeling it in, and occasionally L2 to pop. But you've got to do this on an angle. I feel doing it on an angle is best. And there we go, fish on, guys. So hopefully this will be a nice bass. I can't really see it being a gar, but we'll see. Let's take the tension up one more, and that's about the maximum I would take it up to, because as you can see on the left hand side where it shows line weight, it is going to red. You don't want it to go all the way to the top. It's a nice bass. So there we are, a butterfly peacock bass, $358 and £3.5. Again, just to show you that it's not just a fluke, we'll cast out to the right hand side here, left hand side, sorry, instead of the right. We'll take the tension down one, and that is a really poor cast. And there we go. Again, just let it settle a minute. On the angle, R2 to reel in, and then keep popping using the L2. Remember to keep hold of R2 to reel in while you're doing it, otherwise it won't work, guys. So you just want to keep popping. You may do 2 tugs, 1 or 3. I do between 1 and 2. It tends to work 90% of the time. But again, you want to make sure you're fishing round peak time. When it's not peak time, it can be really slow. So we'll just keep popping and bringing this in. Again, if you want to zoom in, it's R1. And there we go, fish on, guys. You've seen it come, you've seen the bubbles behind. Another butterfly peacock bass. We'll do just one more again, and we'll see if we can catch a gar. Let's have a look, because gars generally go on top of the water. And then what we'll do is we'll go with a walker after this, and then that'll be the tutorial done, guys. And it's got caught, which is not what I want, but it's not too big a deal. You just pull it off, go max tension, and then we start popping again. So in fact, we've got to bring it in because it's got some weed on it, hence why it's not showing up it's popping. So let's just dispose of the weed. Water lily, discard that. You don't want to get it into the weeds, so that is the problem. Obviously with a walker, in terms of the frog's perfect to get in the weeds. That's what you want. So again, on the angle, let's pop, zoom in with our R1, just keep popping. Hopefully we'll catch a third in a row here. And you can see why I said you make your money, because if you're catching peacock bass at this rate and the money it's worth, you soon make it back. So I mean, what have we made? About $700, $800 so far, and that's just 3 fish, 2 of which were peacock bass. So it actually wasn't 3 out of 3, but what we'll do now is we'll change to a different method, and we will go with the frog walker. So this for me is the best lure. I absolutely love this lure, guys. For catching gar, you shouldn't have a problem using this. What the hell is that cast about? Shouldn't have a problem when it comes to bass or gar, but we'll soon see. Again, it's the same method. Turn it to the right or left. You just need to be on an angle, and we'll start walking. Again, it'll come up there just like so, and there we go, fish on, guys, fish on straight away. This could be a gar given that it's so close to the weeds, but 9 times out of 10 you'll often find it's a bass, but I'm really hoping it's a gar this time, guys, because I want to show you gars are, for me, beautiful fish to catch, but we will see. They don't look most appealing, but it's well worth catching a gar. It's giving me a fair old run for my money anyway, so let's have a look. Crack on with this, see how much we're getting. In fact, it's a bass, judging by the look of that. I think it is a bass, and this could be a trophy or a unique, judging by the struggle it's giving me. It's going to be a fairly big one, I think bigger than the ones we've previously caught, so the money, or what it's worth, could go up drastically here. Again, it's still giving me a struggle, and it's coming. It will get in, guys, and we're virtually there now. There we are. What have we got? We've got a unique butterfly peacock bass. Now guys, £8. It's worth $1,207. Absolutely superb. That's what you want. I told you guys, I know the other methods didn't work and I wasn't catching, but the fish are here. It's all about using the right stuff at the right time. We'll go for one more and see if we can catch hopefully a gar. I'm not fully understanding why I'm getting the cast wrong, but we will see. Let's have a look. Come on, we want a gar here. Let's see if we can catch a gar. Again, we'll zoom in. You can see where the frog is, just on the left hand side of the screen there. We'll turn left just a little bit. It's not going to be a gar if it bites from here. Gars usually hang around top water near lily pads. But catching that bass was an excellent start, really, to the fishing trip. So next up, we want to go with just a standard walker. I'm going to do this walker and then a casting spoon for you guys, and then I'm going to leave it at that. The reason I'm going with a casting spoon is because that's a bottom low, and I'll need to show you how to do stop and go. There is a few methods to stop and go straight, and that's got stuck straight away. And I've got to bring it in because it's got lilies on it. Ugh. That's kind of annoying. But again, guys, this is going to happen because you will be wanting to fish near the lily pads. Let's see, please don't do it again. Ah, he's done it again. There we go, we're on, so we can start now. There, we're walking. This is just a standard walker as opposed to the frog walker. Should still have the same effect that the frog walker had. We'll cast it out one more time after this. Obviously I'm showing you now, you can see it in the water. It wasn't the greatest of casts, so really good method, and I do really enjoy using this method. It doesn't always work, but certain places it's absolutely superb. Like if you get to New York, they'll catch a lot of walleye using this method, and walleye are very lucrative fish as well. You catch enough of them, they make you enough money. So we'll take, as you can see, the arrows in the circle in the bottom right. I've took that up to 2. Gonna stop and go with it on a 2. Hopefully that'll attract some fish. We'll stop and go. We'll just keep doing that all the way back here, and then we're going to end the video on that note, guys. So like I say, if you've enjoyed this video, then please drop a give us a thumbs up, and hopefully you'll subscribe. If you've got any feedback, please throw it down in the comments, and if there's any more, is this a fish on, or that's got to be a fish on, surely. No, it's weeds, I think. If you would like some any more tips and advice on what to do, then please throw them down in comments, and I'll try and do a video as ASAP for you. I won't just be doing Fishing Planet, I'll be doing other various games as well, but if you need tips on Fishing Planet, like I say, please feel free to throw them down in the comments, and make sure you're hitting that subscribe button. But guys, this is me signing off, Devil Gamer J. Unfortunately we couldn't catch a fish then using the narrow spoon, but I've enjoyed making this video and I hope you enjoy watching it. For now though guys, I'm Devil Gamer J. Peace.